A funny thing about what we call capitalism, and by no means do I believe this is really capitalism. I think capitalism is this complex of things, some of which are good and some of which aren't, that you can have outside of capitalism, some which are just unique to capitalism. But for example, the free market, I think that's a good thing. I endorse the free market, but it's not one-to-one the same thing as capitalism. But the de facto definition of capitalism for me is the behavior of this so-called capitalistic society, specifically on the side of the things that are called capitalism in it. For example, socialized medicine is part of capitalism? Not directly, even if it goes on in a capitalist society. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that in a lot of ways, corporatism, if that's capitalism, it's part of capitalism, is about avoiding responsibility. If you, as an individual person, go and dump a bunch of chemicals in a village, you're a criminal. You're going to go to jail as a murderer. But if your corporation does it, then the corporation, which is treated like a person legally, even if it's caught to have done that, is not going to go to jail. It's not going to be punished. And to me, this relates to my reductionism and this idea of emergent properties. While it's true that there are emergent properties of a corporation that make it like a person separate from its parts, really those qualities, its organic ability to behave and whatnot, to behave well or inappropriately, that's all the summation of the parts of the individuals that make it up. So, the idea that there's this fundamental change is why, well, it's a person, but there's obviously no way to arrest this particular kind of person. What are you going to put, 20,000 people in jail? Well, no, but you could trace the materiality. You could trace the part of the decision-making network that decided something. See, what they do is they're not putting the CEO of a company like that in jail because he's saying, oh, I didn't want to do that. Well, what about the VP that was in charge of it? Oh, he didn't want to do it. And it goes down to the district manager. District manager, no, I didn't say that. And it goes down to the floor managers and these guys that actually dumped the chemicals. But then you can't find any of those guys. Or maybe you find a few token ones. And basically the organization escapes responsibility. What I would do is, you go down the management chain. It's all in their hiring records. As far as you can. And if people can say, look at my memos, I said never do this. Look at my memos, I said have this policy. And you punish those managers and you work up as far, and they go to jail. They're the ones. Their actions caused a problem that now you need to arrest those actions. But instead what happens is companies are punished. Sometimes they even are driven out of business. And the people take the parachutes and the bundles of money they got from that and they just go off and do it again. And that's the whole point of arrest, is to stop people. You don't just say, hey, you robbed a 7-Eleven, and you don't have the money anymore, you're a bad person, but there you go, and let them start again. You have to rehabilitate that behavior or at least arrest the behavior. And if you had this, you might have some managers that get nailed with some things the people do, but they would be, in the future, trying harder to make their people under them behave entirely legally. And they would cover themselves with policies that they could use in court to say, look, I said we should have a safety. I said, here's how we dispose of these things. These guys obviously went on their own to save themselves an hour of work or whatever they did. But right now we don't have that. We have this tacit ability just to say, well, as long as I didn't say particularly do that illegal thing, we'll just arrest some guy that in fact was told to do it. Just assume he's getting paid while he's doing it, that it's a part of that organization. You can make a material link between the two. And I actually think it'd be fine to treat corporations as persons if you did this part too. Persons have risks to their personal liberty. And because of the reduction of the corporation as a person into the personhood of the parts, there's a trail to track there. That might sound harsh, but it's no more harsh than I was only throwing eggs, I'm not a vandal. Well, don't throw eggs at other people's houses. That's vandalism, But I was just innocent. I was just having fun. I was just throwing it at my cousin and it went by him and it, whatever. You're responsible, and you're responsible if you're a person of a corporate nature as well. Wait.